Today we're gonna try Takis Intense Nacho chips, I guess you'd call these. I'm not sure. They're Takis, nacho cheese Takis, which are fairly new. It's been a couple weeks. This is the first time I could find them at the store. Found them at Walmart, and they also had they had regular chips, which I didn't know Takis did, but you can kind of see it here. Taki waves, which were like Ruffles, and then they had Intense Nacho popcorn, which I also didn't know they made. But I went with the regular Takis because, I mean, that's the default, and also I'm kind of excited to try a not spicy Taki and see what happens, because I really never buy Takis because I've only ever, tried them and hated them because they're too spicy. But they're trying to step up their game and kind of expand their audience, and I'm into anything cheese, so it's time to finally get our hands on these. Very curious. Yeah, I'm not generally also a fan of the Taki form factor, like these kind of little rolled things. I mean, it's weird because when you think of potato chips and even Doritos, but mostly potato chips, the folded over chips are honestly the best chips. Like when you're in a bag of Lay's and you get a folded over Lay's, that's the best Lay's in the bag. But something about this, I think because it's corn-based and not potato-based, it just seems a little bit too much. Like, I'd rather have it flattened out and not in a roll, but, that's Taki's gimmick. That's Taki's thing. Let's eat these. I must admit, I'm a bit disappointed, and by a bit, I mean a lot disappointed, because the name Intense Nacho, I don't think really fits. Unsurprisingly, these do have a Dorito-like taste, but unlike Doritos, I think that their form factor hurts it in terms of the seasoning because they are too lightly seasoned. So you would think, based on the form factor, that the way that they were seasoned would have seasoning on the inside and the outside to make it intense. But it really doesn't. That's, it's a problem with Doritos oftentimes, under seasoned bags. That happens very often, but these are very, very mismatched. Some of them are nicely seasoned, some of them aren't, and they're not seasoned really at all in the middle, which I think would be the advantage of the Taki form factor, but they really haven't taken advantage of it. It's funny, it's a name like Intense Nacho is almost ironic because they're not even as intense as a nacho cheese Dorito, in my opinion. They're fine, they're okay. I actually kind of like the cheese flavor. It's different than a nacho cheese Dorito, but not that different. It is still a standard kind of cheese flavor on a corn tortilla chip. So it's not too different, but it's milder. And with that mildness and then combined with the lack of seasoning, you end up losing the flavor pretty quickly, And again, that's something that happens with Doritos. After you eat a few Doritos, you kind of lose the cheese flavor in them. But these are even worse than that. It's like the things that are kind of, bad about Doritos, mainly the under-seasoning and the kind of lack of real oomph in terms of nacho cheese Doritos, are just exasperated here. There's nothing here that really takes me away from, just getting Doritos, because these are just a similar but less intense flavor, despite being intense nacho. So I think Takis is on to something here. I think that these could be successful, but you guys have got to heavily season your chips. You got to have some kind of advantage versus Doritos. As it is, you are at the disadvantage in terms of everything, name, brand, taste. You got nothing on Doritos. I think if you had heavily seasoned nacho chips, then you would be in a good place. I would buy these again if I could guarantee that the bag would be nicely seasoned. But as it is, there's so many lightly kind of seasoned Taki chips in here that it really ruins the experience. And it's been happening a lot with Doritos too. Doritos bags can be very hit or miss these days. I don't know what it is. It could just be, my mental state. It could, be me projecting. Maybe it is. But I feel like in the last few years, the under-seasoning of Doritos has intensified. From being a problem that happened every once in a while to a lot of the time now. Again, it could just be me, but I feel like, 5-6 years ago, it was never really a problem, and now it's often a problem, at least for me. So, Takis Intense Nacho, you could be good, but unfortunately, you're just a little under-seasoned. If you could come out with an alternative to Doritos Spicy Nacho, then I think you'd be on to something. Because Spicy Nacho, despite the name spicy, it's not really that spicy. It's on the edge. It's perfect for me, someone who likes a hint of spice. I like a little bit of a kick, but not too much. I want it to be mild enough to where I can, eat the whole bag without burning my mouth, essentially, because I'm fat. So that's what I want. If you guys could come out with an alternative to that with just a little bit of heat, if you could take this meter and put it like just maybe on like the bottom point, just a hint of heat along with this cheese flavor and season them right, you could be in a great spot. But as it is, I'm gonna give them a 3 out of 5. They're okay, but really you'd be better off just with a bag of Doritos, at least for now. And with that, I will see you all next time.